Morgan, good morning. How
Good
are
morning.
you?
I'm good. I'm freezing, but that's okay. I'm happy to be here and talk with you.
Yeah, I'm happier. It is cold. Man, those 2 hour delays. That's a whole nother let's talk about it episode, isn't it? Hi everyone. Thanks so much for joining us. My name's Kelsey Cunningham. I was with you last week, and today I have with me Morgan. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hi, everybody. My name is Morgan Brooks. I'm kind of new to the Parent Link team. I've been here a couple months now. We live in Columbia as well. I work part-time with SchoolLink and then part-time with our kinship program. Um, I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, Morgan, will you tell everybody what you are bringing to the table? Because we were so excited when you joined the Parent Link team. So tell us a little bit, like, where were you before Parent Link?
Absolutely. So my husband and I lived in Springfield, Missouri, and I taught public school there for about 4 years. I kind of did a wide range of things. My most favorite role was working as a kindergarten teacher and then also as a behavior interventionist. So that's a little bit of my career history, I guess. But I have a huge passion for children, families, and supporting our schools.
Love it. Okay, and that is a perfect, not at all cringy segue into let's talk about it, right? And I thought it was important that Morgan join us today because the call that we had, what was it, Morgan, like 2 weeks ago? I think
Mm-hmm.
it was
Yeah,
about two
called
weeks
me for
ago.
help.
Um, it was it was about toileting issues and school and kindergarten. And hey, I think it's really important to note that even if you are a parent who has had kids who have potty trained, learned how to use the potty, learned how to use the toilet, you've done all of that. It is okay when we talk to parents to think, oh my goodness, how do I respond to this? I have never done this before, right? I think there's that first, inclination like, okay, wow, whoa. But as we're going to talk about every single week, it's okay not to have all of the answers, right? It's okay to reach out. It's preferable to reach out to a team member and discuss and get on the same page. Okay, let's jump into it. So, Mom calls me. I've worked with her before. She's a 5-year-old. He's in preschool, loves the preschool, but he's having some behaviors. We talk about some parenting things. We talk about hitting, tantruming, that kind of developing that after school rhythm. And then she says to me, "Oh, kind of in a embarrassed to bring it up tone.
Yeah.
Um, Kelsey, so we've got this thing going on at the preschool, and and she uses the word terrified. I am terrified that it's going to roll over into kindergarten. And I said, okay, what's going on? And she talks to me about how her kiddo was often scared to use the bathroom at school. And at first, the school was really helpful, really on board. She felt like the communication was happening. They kind of made a little plan for him and sent somebody into the bathroom with him. He had some extra time. He could use the restroom by himself or with a friend. He had that choice. And mom felt like it was working well. Then one of the aides walked in and he was kind of playing in the sink, and the school shut it down. Right? They're like, we don't feel like you're making good choices. We kind of feel like you might be taking advantage of the situation. So we're just going to go back to you use the bathroom when everybody else does. Right? Whew, okay.
A
So,
lot.
yeah, she and I talked about you have a great relationship with his preschool teachers. That's lovely. We kind of talked about let's set a time to reach back out with them. I gave her some words. She felt really confident, and then she said, "Okay, but I am terrified that he is going to go to kindergarten." Kindergarten summer school this summer, right? That's a thing. Lots of kids. I love that transition. I am terrified he is going to go to summer school, kindergarten, and he is still going to be having accidents, or he's not going to be feel comfortable about using the bathroom. And I was like, oh, and then I thought of you. I was like, Morgan has been a kindergarten teacher for many, many years. Let me reach out to her, right? So, Morgan, would you just like briefly recap our conversation and then we'll jump right into it, right? So let's talk about it.
Absolutely. I mean, it's kind of crazy. It's one topic, it's toileting, but there's a lot to discuss. I
Absolutely.
remember you messaged me and reached out, and my first initial reaction was the same as yours, like, wow, I don't have my own kids yet. I've never raised a child, but toileting is a big deal. And in the classroom,
And we all do it, right? So we need
yeah,
to talk, yeah, we need to talk about it.
yes. And these are things that as a parent, I would be worried about too, especially not having experience in a school. So I'm
Mhm.
really glad that she called you and then that you called me. I remember we first talked about those things like, well, what's their relationship or what's her relationship like with the school? Have they talked? Um, have they met in person? Who has she talked with? Is she open to talking more with them? Or does she kind of feel like that door is closed? So that's the first thing we talked about, and
Absolutely.
we kind of brainstormed like maybe, like visual schedules, social stories,
Mhm.
things like that to help him go to the bathroom, making sure that just in case, taking him to the doctor was also a good idea just to make sure that it's not a medical thing. Um, a little bit of my worry, I guess, if I were mom, was relieved when, he will go to the bathroom with her. It's not that he is uncomfortable or not going. That was a little like kind of sigh of relief, I
Yeah,
guess.
because she is, oh, she's so insightful and she was trying all the things, right?
hmm And then just thinking about like he also did go at school. So that is a big win. This hasn't been a battle to where they haven't made any progress, at this time in the school year. So that was another big win that we talked about. And do you want me to go ahead and share a little bit of like my perspective as a teacher?
Yes, please, because I think it's important to note that we really wanted to reassure mom, but I didn't have those words, right? Because
Mhm.
I am not the school professional anymore. So I wanted her to be able to have that reassurance. And then so could you talk to us about that? And then I want to go a little deeper into the school.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes. So I feel like in order to reassure mom, she needed to know or hear that her child will not be the only child struggling with toileting issues in kindergarten. And every year, whether I was the actual kindergarten teacher or serving in a different role, we helped children with that. We did one-on-one support, like I'll walk you to the bathroom. It's not abnormal. Um, and teachers, particularly when I was a kindergarten teacher, we had to make plans for specific children to help them go to the bathroom, even when my own classroom had a bathroom. So the child didn't have to walk all the way down the hall by themselves. Um, I just wanted her to hear that she's not alone in this. And like, I probably would have felt that way, like, so concerned about my child, but that was the first step to reassuring her.
Absolutely. And what I loved that you said to me was, oh my goodness, no, she is not the only one. This is, this is a common issue. We hear about this all the time. And then you said to me, Kelsey, I loved when parents reached out to me. And I
Mhm.
just, like, Morgan, I think we say that a lot, right? I think we say, have great communication with the school,
Mhm.
reach out to teachers. And I want to stress, like, what does that actually mean? What does that look like from a teacher perspective? How are you building that rapport with parents as as a kindergarten teacher, as a first grade teacher? How are you making sure that communication happens?
I would say building relationships with families and with the children is like number one. It's extremely important, and teachers put a lot of pressure on themselves to make sure that those relationships are positive. It's harder to do, I would say,
Mhm.
than some people think, and
Yeah.
also it's easier in some ways. But um, I can think of one boy I had right now in my class, and it also was a toileting issue. I kind of just noticed that he wasn't going to the bathroom. And I
Hmm.
would kind of pull him aside and prompt him, like, if you need to go, it's okay. You can go now. You can raise your hand, or you can come to me if you're feeling shy. But after that conversation, I reached out to the parent just
Love that.
via like some schools have specific like sort of texting programs, and my school had one this time. And I sent the mom probably a really long paragraph, but I always said, I am here to help. I notice this. Do you notice this at home? What can I do to help? And I think that's kind of two-sided, like sharing what I notice, but also asking for help. Um, and it helped the parent and I just communicate knowing that I wanted to help and asking her for it. What, like, rather than just saying, like, your child's doing this, I wanted the parent to feel like they could
Hmm.
ask me anything, even if it's about toileting. And I sometimes would say, if there is anything at all that you need help with, message or call me or call the office and they'll get the message to me. I think just as a teacher, verbalizing that goes a
Hmm.
really, really long way.
Right, because sometimes we assume that parents, we've met them, we're friendly at back to school night. We send out the welcome information about ourselves. So we assume, oh, they know I'm here to help. They know that I am, support them, support our kid. But I love it. Like you're taking it a step further and you're saying, not only do I care about your kid, I care about him so much that I'm noticing these things and I
Mhm.
want us to be on the same team. So just actually saying those words as a teacher, I think is so important. And those are the words that I want to hear as a parent. Um,
Mhm.
Morgan, quickly, and we could talk about this all day. But okay, I said to you last week when we were talking about this again, I'm like, okay, that's great. You have a conversation with mom, dad, grandma, grandpa, and you get off the phone and you're like, and you feel great about the
You're like,
conversation, right?
whoa,
Like,
yeah.
yeah, you have a plan and you get off the phone, you're like, whoa, okay. Now I actually have to. You're feeling like I did a little bit on the phone
Hmm.
always, right? You're like, wow, I'm supposed to maybe know how to do this, but what actually are the next steps? So I said to you, okay, let's pretend I'm a first year teacher. Right? We're pretending. I maybe saw some toileting issues when I was student teaching. I maybe have heard some other teachers. Maybe it was introduced in a class that I had at the university or college. But I get off the phone and I'm like, okay, actually, now what? That's what I said
Hmm.
to you. And you said, what am I doing now?
Ooh, I think throughout like the last 4 years, I learned to ask for help because the teacher across the hall might have experienced something. Um, the nurse works with children with these
Hmm.
needs day in and day out. So I think my tendency as a person is to kind of like, okay, take it on, do what I can. But it might have been like 3:30 after school. I'm talking to this parent. I hang up and I want to have something ready for the next day because I want this child to be healthy in every single way, like academically, socially, literally healthy. And these are big needs for little kids. So I would feel a lot of pressure first off. There's a lot of pressure
Yeah,
as a
so
new
much
teacher.
pressure.
You're kind of juggling things being thrown at you is what it feels like. And teachers have a tendency to want to do things really, really well. And it's difficult to do that, but I learned to ask for help. And that is advice I would give any teacher, honestly, even if they've been working for 30 something years, ask for help. There's a reason that we kind of share our kids and each have different roles. So if I had a child in my classroom with this need, I would ask my team. And if I needed more support or they didn't have the right experiences, then I would go to maybe my principal and she might say, hey, go to the nurse or let's build a
Mhm.
plan together. My last administrator emailed us when we had children or asking if we had children who needed like toileting plans. So it takes a team effort. It's also really difficult, though, if you don't have that support system in your school or you just don't feel like you have it yet.
Yes. Hmm.
And I would say when I first started teaching, I tended to isolate myself. I didn't yet have those connections. And that can become really difficult. And I think that is a huge reason why our programs exist and we can try to help point people in the right direction. Or I would say too, as a new teacher, find one person in your school you can talk to, and if they don't know, ask them, like, who could I reach out to? And it might not even be in your school, it might be in like the counseling organization or your new teacher
Absolutely.
liaison. But I would say number one, ask for help and don't be afraid to.
I love that advice because again, we're humanizing all of this, right? We're saying every single time to every parent, every professional, you are not alone.
Mhm.
We can be your starting block. We can help you brainstorm, but also it's okay not to know everything. It's okay not to have the answer. And if you go to the first person, if you go across the hall and the teacher there is like, well, she would probably never say this, but if she said, I don't know what to do, then we have to build up that confidence to think, okay, she doesn't know what to do. Let me head down to the office and ask.
Mhm.
Because we have to believe that we're all a part of a team and we can bounce ideas off one another. And that
Mhm.
is why we're here also to help you through that. So,
Yes. And I
yeah,
think going back to the mom and this particular situation, if I were the teacher, I would hear her concerns. I would one say, like, you are not alone in this. And if I wasn't quite sure what to do next, I would say, I'm going to reach out to and just kind of fill in the blank, that person at my school and ask for help. And we'll figure it out together. So then that kind of relieves a little pressure of like,
absolutely.
tomorrow I don't have to have it all together. It's going to take time. And then the mom kind of sees like this teacher's putting in the effort to help my child.
And that's what it's all about.
Hmm.
I love it. Morgan, thank you so much. I appreciate this perspective. And I love working with you. So thank you.
Of course, I'm really glad you reached out for help.
Yeah.
I was typing so much whenever we were first talking, and I'm glad that we could share about this topic together.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think for everybody listening, we're going to put some helpful things in the comments,
Mhm.
and we will see you next week. Thanks,
All right.
everybody. Thanks,
Bye.
Morgan. See you later.
Bye.